If you're watching this right now, you already won. Not maybe. Not possibly. You won. While the rest of the world sleeps, while the banks play their games, while the media lies to your face, you're here. You're awake. And that means you understand something most people will never see coming. The biggest wealth transfer in human history is happening right now, and the banks are terrified. You've been mocked. You've been called crazy. Your friends laughed at you. The experts on television said you were wrong. The price dropped. The squeeze is dead, they said. Give up, they said. But you didn't sell. You held. That's not luck. That's not stubbornness. That's the sound of victory already starting to echo. Because if the banks had the power to break you, they would have done it already. But they can't. Do you know why? Because what's happening right now isn't a squeeze anymore. A squeeze is temporary. This isn't temporary. This is a takeover. China controls 80% of all solar panel manufacturing on Earth. Let that sink in. 80%. Not 50%. Not 70%. 80%. 80%. And you cannot build a single solar panel without silver. Not one. It's the conductor. It's the lifeblood. Without it, the panel doesn't work. So here's what's happening that nobody's talking about. China isn't just buying silver anymore. They're keeping it. Export controls. Strict ones. The kind that don't make headlines, but change everything. The metal that was supposed to leave China and feed the Western markets. It's staying. It's being locked down. It's being weaponized. And the Western banks just realized something terrifying. They don't control the supply anymore. The East does. Right now, as you listen to this, there's a number that proves everything. The Shanghai Gold Exchange price for physical silver is $7 higher than the price in New York. $7 in a normal market. That's free money. A trader would buy low in New York, fly it to Shanghai, sell it high, pocket the difference. The gap would close in hours. But it's not closing. It's widening. Why? Because the metal can't leave? It doesn't exist in the quantities they claim. The biggest arbitrage opportunity of the century is sitting right in front of us. The real price of silver, the price paid by people who actually make things, is nearly 10% higher than what your trading app shows you. That's not a coincidence. That's a crime scene. And the smoking gun is that gap. But there's something else keeping this price from crashing. Something darker. Something more powerful. It's called the war bid. While China controls the energy transition, the rest of the world is on fire. Venezuela, Nigeria, the South China Sea. Every headline is a flashpoint. When energy shocks hit, inflation follows. When the dollar starts to burn, smart money runs to safety. And that safety, it's silver. The hedge funds know it. The sovereign wealth funds know it. The central banks know it. They're not buying silver because they're optimistic about the economy. They're buying it because they're terrified of war. Every time the banks smash the price down to $70, it bounces right back up to $72, $73. Like a beach ball held underwater. The moment they release it, it rockets to the surface. That buoyancy isn't luck. It's desperation. It's fear. It's smart money protecting itself. And it's unbreakable. Here's what the banks are facing. They can't let the price go up because they're short. They'd lose everything. They can't push the price down because the moment it drops, the safe haven buyers devour the entire inventory. They're trapped between a rock and a hard place. So what does a cornered animal do? It cheats. In late December, the CME quietly raised a margin requirement on silver contracts by 20%, from $21,000 to $25,000 per contract. Now listen carefully, because this is how they're trying to force you to surrender your winning position. When you buy a silver contract, you don't put up the full value. You put up a deposit, a margin. That $21,000 controlled $360,000 of silver. Massive leverage. But then, overnight, they changed the rules. If you were maxed out, if you had $100,000 and bought 5 contracts, suddenly you're underwater. Margin call. Your broker calls. Wire us $20,000 immediately, or we liquidate your position. You don't have it. You're fully invested. So what do? You sell. You're forced to sell. 1 or 2 contracts, just to survive. And when thousands of traders sell at the same time, not because they want to, but because the rules changed, the price crashes. It's artificial. It's engineered. It's a man-made avalanche. But here's the part that proves they're losing. You don't deploy a nuclear weapon unless you're losing the conventional war. If they had the silver, they'd just deliver it. Problem solved. But they're not delivering. They're changing the rules to prevent delivery. That tells you everything. But if you're holding physical silver, actual metal in your hand, none of this matters. 0 margin calls. 0 counterparty risk. 0 rules, they can change. The CME could raise margins to $1 million. Doesn't touch your ounce. This entire dirty trick only hurts paper traders. it doesn't hurt physical holders. In fact, it helps you. Because while they suppress the paper price to shake people out, they're keeping the clearance sale going just a little bit longer. They're giving you one last gift. One last chance to trade paper for metal before the price reflects reality. Before the world wakes up. What you're witnessing right now isn't a normal market correction. It's the final stages of an empire losing control of its resources. China is draining the West of its wealth, while the West plays games with derivatives. The Shanghai premium is widening. The war bid is holding the floor. The retail holders are refusing to sell. And the banks are running out of weapons. They've raised margins. They've manipulated the paper price. They've flooded the media with lies. And yet, the price won't stay down. The holders won't sell. The metal keeps flowing east. This isn't a squeeze that will end. This is a shift that will reshape everything. You came to this video because somewhere deep down, you already knew. You knew the system was broken. You knew the prices were lies. You knew that holding something real was better than holding a promise. And you were right. The banks are terrified not of silver going to $100. They're terrified of what happens when the world realizes that silver at $72 is the bargain of the century. They're terrified of the day when the paper price finally collapses to meet the physical price, when the Shanghai premium vanishes because there's no more metal to shit, when the contracts can't be settled because the vaults are empty, when the game ends because the house has no more chips. You're not holding silver because you're a gambler. You're holding it because you can read what's written on the wall. And the message is clear. The takeover is real. The shortage is real. The end is coming. And you're on the winning side. That's the game. That's the truth. Now you decide what you do with it.